might end up with Baker Mayfield or Daniel Jones, which is unbelievable. Those words are coming out of my mouth. But he's going to be on the short list. Dak Prescott's an easy guy to poke holes in because he's the quarterback of America's team. So as soon as even if they went 15-1 a couple of years ago with Mike McCarthy and losing the playoffs, people point to Dak and go, oh, that's the problem. That's the issue. They stink. They really don't. That roster's actually not that bad. And they've been in a couple of games this year. The Green Bay game, which they tied, probably could have and should have won. Week 1 versus Philly, they hung around with the Super Bowl champions. I'm saying Dallas is about a game better than their record. That's not a terrible football team. I think when it comes to the last wild card, it's going to be between the Cowboys, the Vikings, and the Bears. Oh, my. Speaking of those Vikings, I think that they would probably tell you right now, if they're being honest, that it was the wrong move to let Sam Darnold walk. Sam Darnold last week put up 4 touchdown passes. He's put up pretty big numbers so far as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. They closed the Super Bowl window themselves, the Vikings did. I mean, they won 14 games last year. Nobody remembers that. But if you win 14 games, then you're in the Super Bowl conversation. And they decided, nah, we're good. We're going to go with the unknown, J.J. McCarthy. And just because he's basically a rookie quarterback, think about guys that were number 1 picks the last handful of years, like Caleb Williams and Bryce Young. Even if you're the number 1 pick at quarterback, that doesn't mean you're going to be good right away. And the Vikings decided, while their Super Bowl window was open, to go with a rookie quarterback, essentially, and to let Sam Darnold walk. So the Vikings, to me, went from one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the NFC, a real problem, to just another team, like I just said, that might end up with one of those last wild cards in the NFC. And now the Vikings have turned themselves into the Bears and the Cowboys right away. None of them are Baker and the Bucs. I feel like I should get out of here talking about my guy Baker and the Bucs while I got a minute left. That guy would be the MVP right now through the first month of the season. And Baker Mayfield's such an interesting case study because we all remember him as a number 1 pick and coming out of Oklahoma and going to Cleveland. He was terrible. So it took us a little bit of time to talk about how good he actually is when he got to Tampa, where he threw 43 touchdowns, then 41 touchdowns. Then this year, is it crazy to say that Baker Mayfield right now is the best quarterback in the NFL? I'll leave you with that. Thanks to my guy, Ryan Hickey, spinning the wheels, Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports Radio. That's it for me. Rich Eisen's next right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Enjoy your day.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Buccaneer Music Hall is your beacon of music in the land of the Pirates in ENC. Open at noon 7 days a week with live music. Come enjoy sports trivia with me, Clip Rock, every Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, it's live local acoustic night, along with line dancing from 7 to 9 on Wednesday. Thursday, there's a brand new lineup with Singo starting at 8, followed by karaoke with DJ Dog. Ladies and free both Friday and Saturday nights with the best local bands in the area. Finish the weekend with free games and DJ Kids Scene.
Y'all come get bucked up.
You would do anything to keep your family safe. Don't leave safety to chance with national companies or do-it-yourself systems. Hi, this is Mike Robertson, the owner of SCI Technologies. We have recently merged with High-Tech Communications to become North Carolina's premier security, audio, and fire alarm provider. The most cost-effective solutions for your home or business security and life safety needs. SCI Technologies, 252-321-7006. That's 321-7006.
Greenville Utilities customers should be proud to know their electric, natural gas, water, and wastewater utilities are owned by the community. That means decisions are made locally, not in some other city or state. It means the utilities are run in the best interest of the community, not to make profits for out-of-state shareholders. It means reliability is high while rates remain low. Greenville Utilities, safely providing reliable utility solutions for the Greenville region since 1905.
Eastern North Carolina's newest concert destination is here. It's Carolina Crossroads Amphitheater, a brand new state-of-the-art outdoor amphitheater with room for 30,000 fans. Reserve your seat or grab a spot on the lawn and enjoy food trucks, vendors, cold beer, and cocktails all night long. It's just a short drive away right off I-95 in Roanoke Rapids. Carolina Crossroads Amphitheater, showcasing world-class entertainment and delivering exceptional experiences for every guest. Visit CarolinaCrossroadsAmp.com for more information.
Looking for your new favorite hangout spot? Come on down to the Doghouse Tavern, Aiden's veteran-owned crown jewel on 2nd Street. From open mic Mondays to music bingo Thursdays, there's always something happening. Enjoy daily drink specials, one of the best bar menus around, and live music that'll keep you coming back for more. Grab your friends, kick back, and support local at the Doghouse Tavern. Check us out on Facebook to see what's on tap this week. The Doghouse Tavern, where good times and great vibes live.
When the truth matters, trust the professionals at Private Eyes. Founded in 1999 by law enforcement officer and military veteran Gary Pastor, Private Eyes specializes in private investigations, executive protection, security, and threat detection services. From individuals, attorneys, and businesses, Private Eyes has the experience, resources, and state-of-the-art technology to uncover answers and protect what matters most. Private Eyes, professional, discreet, trusted. Call 866-774-3937.
Do you have any real estate questions about buying or selling residential or commercial properties? Are you curious about this current real estate market? Do you need a property manager for all your rental houses? This is proud ECU alum Scott Harris with Harris Real Estate Group, and I would love to help answer every question you have and show you a real estate experience that will be memorable and enjoyable. Every step of the way, I'm here to make your dreams a stress-free reality. Call me today at 347-1857. That's 347-1857. Go Pirates!
If you're looking for a delicious home-cooked country breakfast or lunch, look no further than CD's Grill. CD's Grill in Winterville has the best country cooking around. Start your day with CD's mouth-watering homemade cheese biscuits, eggs cooked to order, and pancakes so big and fluffy there's no way you leave hungry. Open Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. and Saturday from 5:30 to 11 a.m. CD's has lunch specials and an all-you-can-eat salad bar. Stop by, say hey to owner Jason Brown and the CD's crew. CD's Grill, 111 West Fire Tower Road in Winterville. CD's Grill, the best country cooking around.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern North Carolina's longest-running sports radio call-in show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show on Pirate Radio is brought to you by
Bojangles, Bostic Sugg, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, QC Kinetics, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome into our show. Got a good show planned for you. Head coach Blake Harrell from East Carolina will join us in just a few seconds. So we're going to talk about the upcoming game in New Orleans at Tulane. We're also going to have Steve Shankweiler live in the studio with us. And before we start, we want to dedicate today's show to Harold Robinson, the former Williamson High School coach who meant so much to so many of us in Eastern North Carolina through the years. He passed away on Saturday. Coach Harrell talked about it a little bit in his press conference yesterday. I know Coach Shankweiler knew him fairly well, worked with him on the same staff. So we're going to talk about Coach Robinson, who coached at Williamson High School from 1979 to 2003, won a couple of state championships, but just a great person and a good friend. friend, and we send our thoughts and prayers to his family after Harold Robinson passing away on Saturday. Right now, we're trying to crank up with head coach Blake Harrell to get his thoughts going into the Thursday night matchup with the Tulane Green Wave. Big game in the American, and as coaches always say, the more you win, the bigger the games get. Blake Harrell joins us now from his office, and Coach, we open up the show by dedicating it to head coach Harold Robinson at Williamson High School, who passed away on Saturday. I know you had some thoughts on it at your press conference, but we lost a good man on Saturday, didn't we?
No doubt. Obviously a good football coach and had a lot of influence on East Carolina and high school football in this area. And, just thoughts and condolences with his family. But just a guy that, I think we talked about the other day, first guy that was a football ops guy at East Carolina and under Coach Thompson, and then Coach Skip Holtz, and then Ruffin McNeil after that. And then also the influence he had as a high school coach over in Martin County for years. And just, was involved in the Shrine Bowl and so many things with the State High School Association. And just tough one to lose him, but definitely he mentored a lot of people and affected a lot of lives out there.
He was one of those coaches that when I got here in 1984, and there were so many of them around, but they just made you feel at home, because when you're feeling a new area out, you don't know anybody, you don't know how the rivalries go, you don't know which teams are usually good and which teams are usually bad, and he was one of those guys that kind of just took you in and kind of talked to you as far as what his team was like, told you some things about some of the other teams, and really made you feel at home in Eastern North Carolina. But I know he meant a lot to a lot of us, and I know his family was very thankful that you said something about it, him in his press conference. We want to dedicate today's show to head coach Harold Robinson. Friday, October the 17th, the memorial service at 11 a.m. at the First Christian Church of Washington. So we'll get that information out there as well. Pirate football gets on the plane tomorrow, heads to New Orleans to take on Tulane. Another Thursday night game. Coach, are you tired of these Thursday night games yet, or you getting used to it?
Well, I'm just excited to be back in game week and playing football this week and have the Pirates out there on TV. It's obviously a little different when you play on Thursdays, but I think it's good publicity for our university and our program. Will just be on national TV and the ESPN and all those things. It does change things up. And but I told somebody the other day, I think we're getting more. Folks are getting more done around the house. The wives are probably happy their husbands are home and get more done around on Saturday at the house than the normal week. So.
I was going to say that. I've had something to do every weekend, it seems like, and we never have anything to do on the weekends because they're always for Pirate football. But with this weird schedule and no games on a Saturday in October, it's been a little bit different. And I'm getting used to the Thursday night game. I was going to start the show by saying, hey, Coach, what day is it? Because you guys don't really know, do you?
No, we wore a locked-in shirts today. We talked about we used to call it Focus Thursday. That was the 2 days before a game, and you really kind of got your game plan in, and you're really focusing in on your game plan. And the kids kind of call it locked in now instead of focus, so that's fine. Well, we couldn't make it locked in Thursday because we had so many Thursday games, so we just made it locked in. We made some T-shirts for it, so everybody wore their locked-in T-shirts today, and reminded you that you're a little bit over 48 hours of game time. So. It'll be here before we know it.
Locked in day for Pirate football. How was practice earlier today?
I thought just having the bye week and getting ahead. We've been through this is really our fifth or sixth practice on Tulane, so I thought the guys moved around really well, and attention to detail was really good, and just upbeat energy. All those things were pretty special. So they're doing all the things they need to do to prepare to go play a good football game.
Football games aren't won on the stat sheet, but if you look at the stats, East Carolina 26th nationally total defense, 25th nationally total offense, 25th nationally in turnover margin, and you look at Tulane, their numbers aren't quite as impressive. 106 total defense, 67th total offense. I believe they're way up there as far as turnover margin, and that's probably the biggest, the most important stat, isn't it?
Yeah, like you said, stats are stats, and you got to go play the football game. But I do think two important stats that you kind of look at, just that kind of correlates with success, is turnover margin. And both of us have done a really good job throughout the season with that. I think they're just like one spot ahead of us. They may be fifth and we're sixth, or they're sixth and we're seventh, something like that. But I think that's going to be huge in this game. And I think also the rushing attack. I think when they win the rushing battle, I think they're 29-0. In Coach Summerall's career. When they lose the rushing battle, I think it goes the other way for them. So I think that'll be a key. And that's not just one side of the ball doing their job. That's every member of our football team, football program, doing their job to take care of football with the turnover margin and create turnovers defensively and special teams. And then, obviously we got to run the football and do a good job with that. But defensively, we got to stop the run. So it all ties together. It all goes together. And we got to be prepared to do that on Thursday.
Tulane comes into this matchup 4-1, 1-0 in the conference. Their only loss for the Green Wave to a very good Ole Miss football team. And they've played some pretty good football teams and some pretty good football in general, haven't they?
They have. I mean, Ole Miss, I think, is up to number 4 in the country or something. And had a tough one there on the road. But they beat a Duke team that turned around the next week and beat NC State. And I don't know that Duke played their best football. They'd probably love to have that one back. But credit to Tulane and what they did, and executed and won the game that night. And then early in the season, they had Northwestern come to town and put it on them and jumped on them kind of early. I think they it was 10-3 right before the half, or 13-3 right before the half. Northwestern's driving the ball down the field, throws a pick, throws as a turnover, and 2 plays later, Jack Resloff breaks about a 70-yard run, quarterback draw. And it makes it 20-3 at the half. So from that point on, it was kind of game over. And then the South Alabama game, they had to travel to Mobile to play. It was kind of a back and forth game. They had about a 14-point lead, but South Alabama cuts it to 1 score, then scores late, goes for a 2-point conversion to tie it up, and doesn't convert. And Tulane comes out of there with that win. So they've had some, a pretty tough schedule, some challenging games, and made a few plays to be on top. But we're looking forward to the challenge on Thursday, and I think it's as you get into conference play, we talked about a little bit earlier in the week of our conferences. I think up from last year. Obviously, there's going to be a playoff team. Come from the American. The Group of 5 always has a representative, and I think that representative is going to come from the American Conference. Tulane's kind of been one of the favorites, along with Memphis, USF. As you go through this thing, I think I saw a graphic the other day on TV as ESPN. And was talking about, I think Memphis was 33%. Right behind them was Tulane, was the next highest percentage to make the playoffs. And at the very far right of that, they only had 4 teams up there, 5 teams up there, was ECU at 2%. I said, that's all good. All we need is an opportunity and a chance. And, really, why not us? And why not us to get the job done Thursday night?
So you're saying there's a chance, right? I'm telling you, if you're at 2% right now, but if you knock off Tulane, that percentage goes way up, doesn't it?
Yeah, every time you take care of business, and it's really like that throughout a football game, right? You take care of play 1 and you take care of play 2, and those plays start to stack and build. The chances of winning the game go way up. Well, it's no different than what you could have coming in the season. If you could win a game and kind of get on a roll and win another, your percentages go way up. But you got to take it one day at a time, one play at a time.
Kenny writes in and says that if you listen to Tulane's talk that they believe in their run defense, do you believe you can run the football against that crowd?
We better. I think that's key. I thought Northwestern ran the football well. I thought Duke ran the football well. Northwestern kind of, got behind so far. It really took them away from the run game, and they never went back to it and kind of got them out of whack a little bit. I think Duke was able to run a little bit. So, that's something. Offensively, I think it's not just about the O-line. It's not just about the running backs, but we got to be able to throw the ball down the field, loosen that secondary up a little bit, and that'll help the run game more than anything. And that's just, it all goes together, and it all plays out together. The big thing is keep moving the sticks, keep moving the chains, and put the ball in the end zone.
You knew going into the season you would see a quarterback named Jake Ratzlaff. He was with BYU. He transfers. You didn't see him against BYU, but you do see him against Tulane, and he is a threat running the football.
I remember the day back in June where they were talking about, he could be facing a 6-game suspension or, suspension at BYU. And I texted staff. I said, hey, be on the lookout. He's probably going to transfer and make a move, and let's make sure he doesn't end up somewhere in our conference. And by gosh, he did. And but it's all good. That's why you play the game. You want to play against good competition, and he's certainly a heck of a quarterback and a really good arm. Has really good arm talent. Makes all the throws. Strong arm. He's actually from California. I think him and Caton have trained together a little bit when they're back home. But the most impressive thing about him this season has been the ability, or what he's done on the ground with his legs. whether it's quarterback design run, quarterback draw, or just scrambling around. He's 7th in the nation with 7 rushing touchdowns. So we got to do a really good job, obviously, stopping their running backs, but keep a really close eye on Jake as a runner. And then I think, his arm talent to throw the ball down the field and the shots they take down the field, we got to make sure we stay on top of those.
Wrapping things up with Blake Harrell, I know you guys, when you land tomorrow, you're going to take the kids out and show them a couple of things around New Orleans, and you're going to get you one of those beignets, aren't you, Coach?
Yeah, I keep calling them baguettes, but beignets. A lot of teams when they go on the road, they'll travel to the opponent's stadium, kind of check it out. We get there, and our guys, the football field's still 120 yards long and 53 1/3 wide, so that doesn't really affect us. But just an opportunity to go stretch our legs out somewhere off the plane ride, and kind of so you don't have any jet lag or any of that going on. And I also think, how many times do you have an opportunity to go back in your lifetime to New Orleans or to some places we travel? And the game of football allows some opportunities that you'll never experience again. And why not take a few extra minutes and kind of let them explore a little bit? And obviously we're going to do it in a safe manner, and it's not necessarily a field trip, but just kind of a chance for us to relax for a minute, stretch our legs, and take in a little bit of the area.
Yeah, you were talking about that the other day at the presser, and I think you included, when you go to Temple and go to Philadelphia, the Rocky statue. I think those kids would really, really like to. And if you show them the movie beforehand, they would really appreciate that trip.
I was going to say, they don't know the Rocky movie.
That's right.
So we're going to have to show them that one before we head that way.
Yeah, you most certainly will. All right, final thoughts. You've touched on it a couple of times. The biggest key in winning this game coming up on Thursday night in New Orleans.
I think you've got to throw these guys off balance. I mean, they get the lead on Northwestern early. They get the lead on Duke early. And it just seems kind of their MO right now is they get up on people early. Then they kind of get comfortable with who they are. We've done a really good job throughout the season, for the most part, starting fast. And we got to do that, Thursday night, start fast, get them out of their comfort zone, and let's go play our football game. If you just look at the points by quarter, they've not, had great fourth quarters. So not only do we have to start fast, we got to finish strong and put points on the board and keep points off the board. I think we already hit on the turnover battle, and the rushing battle there will be key as well. So, excited about a matchup within the American Conference against a really good football team, against a team that's kind of been the top of our conference for several years now. And our guys will be ready to go down to New Orleans and play on ESPN on Thursday night.
Looking forward to the game for sure, Coach. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join us. That's head coach Blake Harrell. Good luck Thursday night, East Carolina and Tulane.
Thanks, Brian.
Appreciate it. Blake Harrell joining us here on the Brian Bailey Show. We'll take our first commercial break. Steve Shankweiler, Director of High School and Alumni Relations, in his 4th stint at East Carolina. We go way back. Looking forward to this conversation as well. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show on this Tuesday for you right after this. Greenville Motor Company and Greenville Auto World, 2 names that are synonymous with top quality sales and service in Pitt County for over 47 years. And Brian Cook joins us now. And Brian, talk about your philosophy when it comes to previously owned cars, trucks, SUVs, even hybrids now.
Yeah, we're going to shop all over the Southeast, trying to keep a good mix of inventory. And from there, we want to offer a top quality product to you through warranties and finance that we can provide.
Try us, trust us at driveherenow.com.
At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Hey Pirate Nation, are you in the market for a member-focused local credit union or making a switch from your existing one? Then explore First Flight Credit Union with branches across Eastern North Carolina where all residents are membership eligible. First Flight members experience in-person service, competitive savings, and loan rates. Everything from automobile, boat, and home loans, First Flight has you covered. First Flight is more than just a branch. They're on a mission to take better care of our community. Stop by one of their local branches today or visit efirstflight.com. First Flight is insured by the NCUA and an equal housing lender.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Have you ever seen those exotic aquariums like the guys do in Las Vegas on television? You ever thought about having one of these aquariums in your business? It's more affordable than you think. This is Hal Pruitt with rentafishtank.com. We can make having an aquarium in your business turnkey with no work, cleaning, or hassles for you. Rentafishtank.com creates a relaxing atmosphere and keeps children occupied. Rentafishtank.com already services many dental, pediatric, and doctor offices, plus hospitals and senior living centers. Check us out at rentafishtank.com.
And it's first and goal for the Johnsons. They're looking to score their dream home. They hand it off to ENC Pirate Realty, Alan Tate, and boom! Touchdown! That's a home sold in record time.
It's a great thing they handed it to ENC Pirate Realty. The last drive, they tried to sell their own home and fumbled.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just scouting the field, the winning play is ENC Pirate Realty Alan Tate. Visit ENCPirateRealty.com today, where we bring championship service to every yard. At ENC Pirate Realty Alan Tate, they close the deal or someone walks the plank.
Go Pirates!
This is Andre Allison, the first receiver to catch for 1,000 in ECU history. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Tuesday. Live in the studio, Steve Shankweiler, Director of High School and Alumni Relations, his fourth stint at East Carolina University. So that tells you one thing, that he likes East Carolina. He loves East Carolina, and he's been around for a long time. I can almost remember the first time I met you way back in the day, and that was, you were a young man. I was a young man too, though.
Yeah, times of taking its toll on both of us.
It hasn't made either one of us any prettier, has it? But it's been a great career for you, hasn't it?
Well, we've been very blessed to be able to call a place home, and in this business, that's really unheard of. And having the opportunity to kind of call it off when you want to call it off, and then the opportunity to stay and work and be part of it and still contribute, it's just been a real neat deal for me and really the whole family.
As I said at the start of the show, we want to dedicate the program to Harold Robinson, who's the Williamson High School football coach from 1979 to 2003. He was 231 and 94 with that record with the Tigers, 2 state titles, 7 conference championships, 16 playoff appearances. But more than that, he was just a leader amongst men. And I was talking to Coach Harrell a minute ago, and I said the same thing, that when I first came to Greenville, when you first come to Greenville, you're a sportscaster, and you don't know anything about Eastern North Carolina, but I was from 2 hours, 2.5 hours north, and we had Virginia, the Virginia High School League and that kind of thing. So I knew nothing about any of this stuff, but some of those coaches kind of took me in and said, hey, here's how it is. Here's who's good. Here's who struggles most of the years, and here's the rivalries and that kind of thing. And I always remember him for that. And then, of course, he extended his career at East Carolina.
Right. Well, one of the things you can always say about Harold, he would bring you in and he would coach you up, and he would tell you exactly how good Williamson Tigers were. And but so many of us are fortunate to have spent time with Harold and to kind of know what he was all about as a person, not just as a coach. But when you look at his record, is phenomenal, wins and losses. But even more impressive to me is the number of guys that played for him, coached for him, that have gone on to become coaches,
right, and
very successful. And I'm sure, I don't know all the people that obviously he worked with that went into business or whatever, but if you see guys going into coaching, a lot of them from one place or becoming head coaches that were on his staff, then that tells you there was something special about the way he ran things.
And it's one of the shames of growth and that kind of thing is the fact that there is no more Williamson High School. It turned into Riverside. Right. Now it's Martin County High. And you understand why it all happens. You understand that there is a why to it. But it's just, when I always thought of Williamson High School, I thought of Harold Robinson.
Right. Well, you don't, you mentioned however many times I've been here and gone here and back, whatever. But, being gone and coming back at different points, you can see really how the economy has affected some of these small counties and these small towns. And it's, places like Williamston and Bertie County and Washington County, one time were much, much larger schools.
Yeah, the old Plymouth High School, now Washington.
Right. And so, the economy really ends up affecting, high school athletics a great deal.
I saw someone this weekend showed me the video, and you may have seen it, but The Boys Will Fall, Kenny Chesney has that song. It's a fairly old song now, but there's a video of Sean Payton speaking in it. And, man, I'm telling you what, it will give you cold chills to listen to it. And he says in the video, I would do, anything in the world to put this high school football uniform on one more time. Right. And those of us, when we play, some of you guys got to play college football and advance on, but most of us that play high school football, man, you take that uniform off. I remember throwing my jersey into the pile to get it washed for the last time, thinking, man, I'll never see that jersey again. And that's pretty much how it is. I mean, that's how special, high school football is.
There's nothing like wearing that jersey around school.
Oh, yeah. Man, I thought I could finally get a date when I had that jersey on. I thought, man, this is all right. I can get a date with this. Yeah. It didn't work that way, but I did love wearing that jersey. But some schools, they wear coat and ties and that kind of thing. But our school did the jersey thing too, and that was. I even like wearing the JV jersey. I mean, I thought that was pretty cool on Thursdays. It
made you special.
It made me special. Made me stand out a little bit. Right. But that's just something. But we certainly want to send our thoughts and prayers to Harold Robinson's family again. Friday, October 17th, the memorial service at 11 a.m. at the First Christian Church of Washington. So take note of that, and that's coming up a week from this Friday. All right, let's talk about the position of the Director of High School and Alumni Relations, which Harold was the first, I believe. He was the first to have that role, and what a great, individual to have it, because he knew everybody in Eastern North Carolina anyway. But as the Director of High School and Alumni Relations, it's kind of twofold. Talk about the high school deal first.
Yeah, it's kind of changed. Well, it's changed a little bit since the transition to Coach Harrell, because he's changed the title of it, and I'm doing more things outside of those two jobs. But you're right. The primary purpose was to, coaches all have recruiting areas, and coaches all have high schools that they're, responsible for, in terms of knowing the coaches, knowing the players, that kind of thing. But when you're coaching in the spring ball, and then you've got the fall camp and you've got the season, there's so little time, to stay in touch with those guys. And not that I get on the phone and call everybody all the time, but congratulatory letters, good luck, sayings to pull on their bulletin boards for the kids so they see ECU up in front of their eyes. But, to really be a liaison between those guys and our program, as opposed to everybody trying to get an answer from this coach, that coach.
Oh, yeah.
And you got 10 different,
right.
Where do I get my tickets? How do I go about this? Would you look at this kid for me? I kind of take over those duties. And then along with it, the just hopefully making them feel that in this world that we live in a new age of recruiting, that high school kids are really important.
Yeah.
You win by recruiting high school kids. And that contact all the time should do nothing but help us and help them.
Can you believe that things have changed so much where there is a thought process out there that the high schools aren't important anymore? I mean, that's where we're at.
It kind of went the way of basketball.
Yeah.
It really did, where the AAU basketball became kind of a separate entity as far as that recruiting process. And now, with the portal and with NIL and so forth, so many high school coaches are left out of the conversation because you may be dealing with an agent or, people outside of the school building.
I mean, there are high school NILs.
Oh, there's no doubt.
That's crazy.
And the transfers in high school every state's having to handle it a different way, but it's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And, and then you think about on the college ranks, they did do something, I think, positive. They got rid of one of the transfer windows recently. Which window was that?
Well, they're going to get, I don't think it's been officially passed yet, but what they're going to do is eliminate the one after spring practice.
Okay.
So that you have one during the first week, 10 days of January, and that now becomes your team, so that you're not having to go re-recruit another team after spring ball.
Right.
So you have an idea. You don't have 50 players coming in June that you don't know. So that will eliminate a lot of issues.
I've told this story many a time, but I can remember the first year all this stuff was going on and going up to Coach Houston's office, and he looked like somebody had just beaten him because he was spending all this time staying up late and trying to get this worked out. And it's so unfair that you have to go recruit others and recruit your own. And it's just a constant battle, and it's just I still don't understand it all. I mean, I understand the concept of it, but it's just it still seems to me like somebody, the higher ups, and say, "Hey, this doesn't make any sense," you know.
Well, you know, the pro sports, they have free agents,
right?
But they also have contracts and rules that lock them into places. You can't just go become a free agent every year.
Yeah.
In which in college you can.
Right.
So we're taking one of the most difficult things in all of sports, and we're turning it loose to be a free for all. And that's the problem. There's no set guidelines about, okay, you know, there's a 3-year contract, 4-year contract, you know, you're a free agent one time. There's no guidelines. I mean, it's just it's the wild, wild west.
Yeah, and don't you think somebody from the higher up should say, okay, let's put a limit on this. You can have one transfer free. I always liked the fact that you didn't have a free transfer, that you had to sit out a year. That gave you, pause, to think about, hey, do I really want to, am I that mad at this coach, or is that situation that much better? Of course, there was no money then.
Right.
Except in the Southeast Conference, probably.
Yeah.
Now, that's off the record.
Now we throw the money in, it just makes it more of a...
Yeah.
But we live in a litigious society. There's been so many lawsuits filed over these recruiting rules that why is this athlete any different than a normal student has been the general thrust. And as each of those cases, as they win each of those cases, the NCAA just literally threw their hands up.
I got it. So, so what you're saying is if Brian Bailey's in school here and he decides he wants to transfer to that school, he's a regular student, he can go.
He can go.
So athletes, they're just trying to do the same thing for them.
The whole deal, and I'm not going to get into all this because it'll change tomorrow, but the kind of behind the scenes is to find a way, and again, I hate to use this term through Congress, but to give antitrust exemption to the NCAA or whatever this new deal is. Okay, you can't be sued once you agree to go by these rules.
Right.
And so that's got to happen.
Yeah, I tell you, it's just, as you said, the wild, wild west, and it's got to be, because it's changed spring football some too, hasn't it? Because you don't want to show anything because somebody will come in and say, hey, he looks really good at that wide receiver position. We need one. Let's go get one.
Well, that's one of the good things about getting rid of that late window in May and June, April and May.
Yeah. So we saw several schools that didn't even do a spring football game this year.
Right.
And before, you had the big schools were broadcasting their spring football games, and now they're like, we're not showing anything. We'll put a tent over the whole stadium and not let anybody in and not let them see it. But it's got to be a challenge. And as you said, it can change on a dime. It's almost like you go to work every day waiting to see where the next shoe's going to drop.
Right. Well, because unfortunately, there's probably a good chance that some guy or entity is working for that kid to say, okay, well, I can help you get more money at this school.
Right.
So that shoe that drops on you today is the guy that said he was coming yesterday. And then, it just becomes a bidding process. And we can all talk about goods and bads, but until they get that under control, until they have a system for agents like the NFL does. The NFL is a perfect model that they need to build this on, but right now there's too many hands in the pot giving it different directions.
I mean, I've talked about this before, but when guys get their money and then say somebody else didn't get as much money, but then he beats them out for the position, and I've heard from people like in the collectives and that kind of thing that would say, hey, I gave such X amount of money for this guy to play, and he's not playing. Well, he's not playing because his butt got beat out by somebody else.
Right.
But it's all just one big happy mess at times. I mean,
that's why our coaches, I think, have the philosophy, and I would have this philosophy: don't tell me how much we're paying the guy I'm coaching.
Right.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to coach him like everybody else.
That's exactly right. Yeah. It's just, but those guys will do a little bit of that, a little bit of talking.
You mean that they brag in the locker room?
Exactly. Yeah.
Who's bigger than the next guy?
Who's got the best watch?
Right.
Yeah. Who's driving the best car? I mean,
right.
that's what we're dealing with. All right. Steve Shankweiler live in the studio with us. We'll take another commercial break. Back with more on this edition of the Brian Bailey Show right after this.
Hauser untouched into the end zone. Touchdown, ECU.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Caden Hauser, and the best way to relax after getting rowdy and dowdy is by having the most comfortable furniture from Bostic Sugg of Greenville. Every pirate needs a good night's sleep, and Bostic Sugg has a showroom full of quality mattresses from the top brands. Outfit your living room to watch every game with a sectional or lazy boy recliner. Pirates prefer Bostic Sugg, serving Eastern North Carolina since 1937, and a proud member of the Pirate Club for over 5 decades. Go Pirates!
At Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, our goal is to turn everyone we talk to into a customer for life. It's a fundamental difference between us and other agencies. We aren't trying to just sell you something. We're asking questions to understand your situation so we can find a solution that fits your budget and your needs. It's a partnership aimed at protecting the things that matter most to you, like your family, your health, your assets, and your time. Our customers don't see us as salesmen. They see us as partners in problem solving. See the difference for yourself. Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Big news from the Rick House. The Rick House has a brand new menu that you're absolutely going to love. New on the menu are creamy garlic parm chicken pasta, crab cakes, and our new porterhouse, half filet, half strip, tender and juicy, and grilled to perfection. The Rick House is the area's bourbon authority, featuring Willet, Jefferson Tropics, and the Frank Sinatra Select by Jack Daniels. The new menu features new, lower prices and $4 drafts all summer long. The Rick House, Red Bank Road in Greenville.
Play it again, sports. Buy, sell, trade. Great deals never felt so good. So good, so good, so good. I saved a bunch of cash. Buy, sell, trade. Using my gear like I never knew I could. Play It Again Sports. Buying and selling new and used sporting and fitness equipment for over 27 years right here in Greenville. Located on Greenville Boulevard across from the Nissan dealership. At Children's Health Services, we understand the importance of your child's well-being. This is Dr. Chris Osmick, and our mission is to provide comprehensive, patient-centered health care through every stage of child development, starting the day they are born in the hospital. We are not just here to treat illnesses. We are here to partner with you on your child's health journey. Schedule your appointment today to build a brighter, healthier world for your children. Children's Health Services, Arlington Boulevard, Greenville, or soon to be our second location on 10th Street. Go Pirates!
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Vaughn. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities.
What's going on, guys? This is Inky Johnson. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back on this Tuesday. Not really a short week for the Pirates because they were off on Saturday, but they do have another Thursday night game. Thursday night, East Carolina and Tulane, 7:30 start time, 3:30 for the Bud Light pregame tailgate right here on Pirate Radio with Clip Brock and the Army that is the rest of the show. ECU and Tulane against 7:30 ESPN. The next week, East Carolina back at home on a Thursday night. We continue this crazy. You've been in football a long, long time. Have you ever had an October where you didn't play any games at all on a Saturday?
I don't know. It seems like there was one year with Skip that there was an October that was like a Tuesday night.
There was.
Thursday night.
But I'm not sure if there wasn't at least one Saturday, but one year with Skip, I think the Pirates played on every night of the week during the season. Yeah, it was crazy. It was and you think back, how did you play on Monday night? Well, Monday night might have been the bowl game. There were some ESPN games on Tuesday night back then, so there was a Tuesday night game, and then it just kept going, here. I think there was one night of the week that maybe, and I think Sunday was included because Sunday was the bowl game, I think, or something crazy.
Probably.
Yeah. So it was a wild time. But.
I mean, we go the month of October. We don't play a Saturday night game, right?
Right. Don't play a Saturday in October at all.
And we're not going to play a day game until November.
Right. And we don't even know. We don't know the time for November 1st, right? That's
right.
Temple.
Yeah.
We hope that's a day game. You don't want to go to Temple, Philadelphia, dark.
No.
That's nothing against the fine folks in Philadelphia, but I don't want to be there after dark, and the weather would be, a question mark for sure as well. Now, Coach Shankweiler is Director of High School and Alumni Relations. So with the alumni, now, what are some of the things that you work with those guys? Because, in the past, I've heard, some of those guys saying things like, I don't think East Carolina, remembers us. I don't think they do a good job of promoting us. But I haven't heard that lately. Do you hear that at all?
I've heard it. Well, probably one of the things that really got me interested in coming back and doing this kind of thing was just the relationships you build over all these years. My first year here was 1987. So, not that I coached here every year from 87 to 22.
You skipped around some. I got the numbers, 87 to 91, 98 to 02, 05 to 09, and then 18 to now.
Yeah. So
pretty good.
A pretty broad range.
Yeah.
So, and I hear those complaints. I've heard those complaints over the years. And, whether there's truth or not, I think every school that I've ever worked with, there's always that issue.
Right.
And so I don't think it's just something that East Carolina has.
I agree.
It's everybody has. But, probably of all the places I've been able to be employed by, I don't know that there's been a university that has the attachment to football in the way that we do here.
Yeah.
It's almost the lifeblood of the university, going back to, the path that, Dr. Jenkins took.
Right.
We're going to have a football program, and we're going to be a university, and we're going to have a med school. And this is built into our culture here more so than other places I've worked. And, I think that keeping those guys and that spirit alive, and I don't do anything with fundraising. They've never asked me to call anybody for a dime, but, and that's not my intent. My intent is to help these guys stay in touch with each other and still feel part of the program, because what happens is you're a player and you leave, and then you want to come back for a game or whatever, and where are the coaches? Well, they're all new coaches.
They're all gone. Yeah,
they're all different.
Exactly.
Because coaching changes so much, and not just here, everywhere.
Everywhere.
And so you lose an identity to your human interactions with people and you kind of feel like a stranger. And I think that's probably what a lot of people feel, that, well, they don't know me, they don't care. Well, realistically, you're right. They don't know you.
Right.
So I try to keep those guys in touch. Danielle in the Pirate Club helps me with the technology of this, but we send out a monthly newsletter, I don't know, 1,500 different emails of former players, ranging from guys that played for Stasevich to guys that played for, Mike Houston. And we just tidbits of news, who's doing well in the pros, what's the team going through right now, who have we hired, well, maybe 10 to 15, let's get caught up with, what's Junior Smith doing today,
okay.
or what's so and so doing. I've even started a former coaches section. Okay, like guys that that coach you back in the 90s and the 2000s. Where are they now? What are they doing? You're just trying to get guys interested and always staying in touch with the program. And it's been, I think, they're going to say nice things to me, but I think it's been good. And with her help, it's been, technically, the pictures and all that, it's really pretty first class.
Yeah, you go back in the history, and since I've been here in '84, some of the assistant coaches that have been here, and Mark Richt was here, Chuck Pagano was here. I mean, some of these guys had great careers.
Tommy Tuberville.
I forgot about Tommy Tuberville. Yeah,
you can keep on naming them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's been a lot of great people come through this program.
And another thing that East Carolina, I think, did a great job this past summer when they put the
banners.
The big banners of the players. Yeah, I was going to say big posters, but the big banners of the players and their names, the years, and I think that really. When you go to other places, you see stuff like that. And I think that's a real plus at Dowdy-Ficklen Stadium to see that and to remember the past, because without the past, you don't have a future.
You don't have a foundation. And
right.
One of the things that I found, and I really try to do this, I don't think that the guy on the street would necessarily enjoy reading this newsletter. I mean, it's pretty lengthy each month, because in that newsletter, it's not the guys you see on the banner.
Right.
It's the walk-on from, Edenton. It's the student trainer from, South Carolina. It's the backup quarterback from California. It's the guys that were part of the team that, you're not going to just go on Google and see his NFL stats.
Right.
And so we really try to keep it more of a universal way of identifying and then praising the guys. So many have gone on to become, engineers, or, there was one guy who was a walk-on linebacker here that's, now he works for the Defense Department. And,
wow.
And he couldn't send me his bio for a while because it was top
secret.
I mean,
Yeah.
And so it's neat to read about.
I tell you, and I have to kill you.
Yeah,
right. That kind of thing. Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's take another commercial break. Back with Steve Shankweiler to continue our conversation for you after this.
This is proud ECU alumni David Price of David Price Construction. As a leading general contracting firm, we specialize in commercial construction and renovation. Whether it's updating your office space, renovating your restaurant, or building a new retail store, our team at David Price Construction is ready to assist. We are committed to delivering quality, value, and customer satisfaction across all of our projects. So give us a call at 919-820-3612 or find us online at davidpriceconstruction.com. Go Pirate.
Here it is. Cooler weather is creeping in. Football is in the air. And if climbing up and down stadium steps is a chore for you and your knees or your hips hurt with every step, there may be relief right around the corner. QC Kinetics are medical professionals that use advanced PRP and stem cell protocols that have helped tens of thousands of people with their joint pain. The stem cells come from your own body to revitalize and regenerate your joints. If you've been told you need surgery, you owe it to yourself to get a second opinion. Call QC Kinetics now to get started. 252-765-PAIN.
There's nothing like holding a freshly grilled Jersey Mike's cheesesteak. It's even better than holding a winning $1 million lottery ticket. For starters, Uncle Sam takes half. Then you buy some useless stuff, like a tiny suit of armor for your cat. And before you know it, your sister's cousins and Uncle Frankie come knocking on your door for handouts. Bing, bang, boom, you're back to zero. So if you want to play a winning number, order a number 17 Mike's Famous Philly. Freshly grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
Greenville Utilities customers should be proud to know their electric, natural gas, water, and wastewater utilities are owned by the community. That means decisions are made locally, not in some other city or state. It means the utilities are run in the best interest of the community, not to make profits for out-of-state shareholders. It means reliability is high while rates remain low. Greenville Utilities, safely providing reliable utility solutions for the Greenville region since 1905.
Need to sell your house fast without fixing or even cleaning it? Call the Turner Home Team.
Hey, this is proud ECU alumni Justin Turner with the Turner Home Team. We buy houses as is in any condition for cash, and we can close in just days. As a real estate investor and licensed agent, my team and I can give you options when you need to sell. Sell fast or sell for top dollar. You choose what's best.
Call Turner Home Team or visit theturnerhometeam.com. They'll make a no obligation cash offer for your home today.
Turner Home Team. Pirates supporting Pirates.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arr!
This is CJ Mayhew, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
Hi, welcome back to our show. Steve Shankweiler live in the studio with us, Director of High School and Alumni Relations, also Special Assistant to the head coach that I left out earlier. That's a big position for you. What exactly do you do with that?
You know, I'm still trying to figure it out.
If something happens to him and Blake does something wrong, he just, man, my special assistant let me down.
Yeah, he after the bowl game, he said, "Are you going to come back?" And I thought he was talking about on the bus after the game. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to ride back." He said, "No, that's not what I meant." And he said, "Here's what I want to do." And I said, "Yeah, I mean, that's nice." Well, I'll give you a new office. I said, "Well, that's okay. You don't need to do that." And he said, "Well, I'll give you this new title." Who cares? Nobody cares. He said, "I'll give you a raise." I
was going to say that.
Now we're in.
Did he offer you a new Benjamin or two? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So but it's I hope I help him. There are times when he. When a head coach wants to shut the door and talk about what direction we going here, is this, am I doing the right thing? And I just really try to be there to answer, just to confirm, hey, no, go, you're doing the right thing. And it's been fun for me, and I hope it's helped him.
Well, and the funny thing is, and we don't think about it, but when he took over as the interim head coach, well, all of a sudden he had duties that he probably had no idea that the head coach has to do. And a lot of it has to do with the media, a lot of it has to do with maybe the Pirate Club, with fans. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and so it was kind of thrust on him. So we, for the coaches show and stuff, we kind of just try to help guide him and do it. And he did a great job with all of that. And then when he got the head job, I mean, it's kind of like, man, I'm driving the bus now. Right. So, but Ruffin McNeil has talked to me a number of times about his role at State and saying that Dave Dorn needed somebody, an experienced coach who'd been there, and he likes to come in and do the same exact thing you said. He'll shut the door and he'll say, Ruff, what about this situation? Right. And it's something that it's none of the rest of our businesses, but it's a head coach and looking for somebody to give him guidance on somebody that's been there before.
Right. Now, like I said, I hope
that's a big honor.
Well, I hope I'm doing a good job with him. He was, we've just become friends over the years that we've been together, and I wanted so badly to help him get this job and for us to win last year, and I just want to do whatever I can to make him successful, and by doing that, the Pirates are successful.
Exactly right. All right, you're also on the awards committee for the Joe Moore Award. I want you to tell people all about that, what that award means, and just how you got involved with that.
Well, Joe Moore is in our profession, kind of seen as one of the guys, O-line coach-wise, that was one of the great ones. And he was at Pitt when they had Bill Fralick and Jimbo Covert and those guys, and then he was at Notre Dame with Coach Holtz, and they had a lot of really good linemen, and Greg Hudson, who everybody knows, was a grad assistant for Joe Moore at one point at Notre Dame and helping him with the offensive line, and then. What happened was Aaron Taylor, who everybody knows from Fox Sports, Aaron played for him, and he wanted to create an award recognizing the team that their offensive line represents the characteristics, both tangible and intangible, that Joe Moore stressed in his coaching career. Joe passed away several years ago. And so he started off in a very small little deal, and then now it's blown into we have a YouTube show that comes out once a week. Obviously, we've gotten sponsors. Greg, has done a good job of helping get some sponsorship for Aaron and from the business world. And this has turned into a national award that is a huge deal in college football. And what we do, in fact, this past Sunday night, we met for about 2.5 hours on a Zoom call. And Greg got me into this 2 years ago. He said, hey, help me with this because I don't have time. And, okay, I'll help you look at the film and all that. And the next thing you know, he roped me into doing it full time.
He'll do that.
Yeah. But what we do is we start literally with probably 80 of the top, group of 5 and P4 schools, and we evaluate their offensive lines.
Okay.
And then we narrow it down as a group of about 7, 8, 9, 10 of us. Some of them you'd be very familiar with. Mike Golick Jr.'s on there.
Okay.
Kublik's on there. Phil Steele is on the committee.
Right.
So you got a bunch of guys that, and Greg and I are on the committee, and Aaron's, he heads it up, and we just, we throw out, okay, I like this team, and this team. I don't like this one. And you kind of go around the room, and you narrow it down to about, right now we got down to about 20. Okay. And then we will, by the end of the month, have it down to roughly 6 or 7. And then by the end of the season, before the bowl games, we'll have, a consensus of who we think the best offensive line in the country is. And what's really neat about it, it could be in Alabama, Ohio State, or Oregon. It absolutely could be.
Or it could be
Army.
Yeah.
Army won it last year.
I can see why.
Yeah, and so,
we saw that firsthand.
Right. We're not going to, it's not based on, who's going in the NFL. It's based on fundamentals, tenacity, cohesion, technique, working together, those type of things. And, how well do we finish blocks? Do we dominate people physically? Those type of things. And it's film study. It's not looking at who rushed for the most yards.
Right.
It does not, who has the best passing attack. It's not that. It's film study, and we all have assigned. Like I've got, for this week, I got 5 teams I got to go back and evaluate that I haven't seen that other guys have, and get a second opinion. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's very meaningful to me, and I appreciate Greg for getting me involved in this.
It's the old adage, the 5 pennies to try to make them a nickel.
Well, I'll tell you what, and if 1 penny is out of sync,
that's exactly right.
You can't go spend it.
Well, that's the magic of football, that if all 11 are on the same page, I was amazed this week that my favorite NFL team, the Cowboys, were missing 4 offensive linemen. And the point spread before the game, showed that, because the Cowboys started off like a 2.5-point favorite. By the time they kicked it off, the Jets were a 2.5-point favorite, because that's 4 out of the 5. That means a lot. And I was surprised they played as well as they did. But and this is a rare award that goes to a group. This is not an individual award at all. Do you guys, when you say you narrow it down, do you announce like a watch list of sorts?
Yeah, we next week we'll announce what we call the mid-season watch list.
Okay.
And that'll be about 18 teams. Okay. And then every couple of weeks we have we wean it down to, and he'll have he has a podcast, and he'll come on his podcast and he'll discuss it, and then announce a new group.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah. And you can see how Army won it last year for sure. I mean,
well, when you study those guys, they're fundamentally, you talk about pad level, hand placement, their base, their aggressiveness, their lack of mistakes. They were clearly. Now you can say clearly, Oregon was awfully good. Some other people were awfully good, but you'd be surprised. I'm not going to mention some schools,
right?
But there's some schools in the top 10 that they're not even in our list,
right?
Because they got great athletes and they got great players.
They make up for bad offensive line play with great athletes.
Yeah, they cross over. They don't keep a base. They don't use their hands right, but they got a great quarterback or a great running back, and it makes them look good. Kind of like when I was coaching, I had Chris Johnson. They made me look really good.
Exactly. He ran past any bad blocks, didn't
That's
he?
exactly right.
Yeah, you were coaching the Dancing Bears. Remember that? You always said, I don't know where that came from.
It came from Brian Bailey. That's where it came from.
The Dancing Bears of Steve Shankweiler. That was a lot of fun. All right, let's take our final commercial break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show. It's been a great hour. Back with more after this.
This is John Gavigan with the Gavigan Agency. Our top priority is doing what is best for our members. Whether you are buying a new vehicle, a new home, protecting your family with life insurance, or filing a claim, our agency will be there every step of the way. Our goal is to become a trusted advisor for you and your family for all of your personal and commercial insurance needs. Give us a call in Greenville at 756-1400 for a car, home, business, or life insurance quote today, and give us the opportunity to show you the benefits of doing business with someone who cares.
Want to make your day better? You can now order 2 large original crust one-topping pizzas from Papa John's for only $9.99 each. Take advantage of this awesome carry-out special now by logging on to papajohns.com and make today a pizza day for only $9.99 each. Papa John's is the MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards and start earning points for your favorite menu items. Go Pirates!
The holidays are right around the corner, and there's no better gift than the gift of confidence. At Beauty Bar Medi Spa, we'll help you glow all season long. From Botox, dermal fillers, to facials and advanced laser treatments, our expert team delivers results that make you feel radiant, refreshed, and holiday party ready. And the best part, your journey begins with a free consultation, personalized just for you. Don't wait, the holidays are coming fast. Call Beauty Bar Medi Spa today or book online. Beauty Bar Medi Spa, because glowing skin is always in season. Go Pirates!
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft, and Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
A pepperoni pizza for the table.
Thank you.
May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness, while the carbonation and notes of citrus enhance the flavor profile. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Hi, this is Phil Steele of Phil Steele's College Football Preview Magazine, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. As we wrap up this edition of the Brian Bailey Show, let's talk Tulane football. Do you get a chance to look at the opposition, look at tape, and analyze stuff like that?
Yeah, one of the things that I do I do it for the defense. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I go 1 week ahead, and I'll study the future opponent's offense so that I can present to Coach Aldridge, hey, this is, he can tell what they're doing.
Right.
Okay, but he may not know why. Why are they doing it that way? Why are they setting their pass protection this way? Last week they did this week they're doing that. Is there a thing, and as an offensive guy, I can, not that you can always unlock the box completely, but I got a pretty good feel. So I'll study all the games they've played and make numerous notes, and then I'll give him a presentation, with film clips to back it up. Okay, here's why they're doing this week, because I see it through an offensive coach's eyes. And so that gives him something on Sundays, okay, to get started. So, okay, let's get started from this point. And then they obviously they go in their film study Sunday night, Monday. So like for Tulsa, I've already finished that. I will give him Tulsa's report probably either this afternoon or first thing in the morning.
Okay.
So
what do you see in Tulane? What do you see? What kind of game's going to be?
Kind of like what you and Blake talked about. They're fundamentally very good on both sides of the ball. They don't beat themselves. They're very similar to when Coach Fritz was there.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of philosophy defensively. They had a good friend of mine who was the O-line coach there. Not now. He's with the Bears now, but he had been with the Saints for a long time. And then when what's his name left the Saints, he took a job at Tulane.
Right.
And those kids are really well coached. They do a lot of really, intricate things in the run game, especially in the zone run. So they're very well disciplined, very well coached. So it's going to be a game where, the quarterbacks are going both sides of the ball are going to have to make big plays, and the defenses are going to have to play sound football. But it'll be a heck of a challenge. But it's one that I think our staff and our kids are really excited about getting into.
All right, Coach, have a safe trip down. Get you a beignet whenever Coach takes you.
Maybe I can get a little jambalaya.
There you go. Get you some of that, too. All right, that's our show for today. I want to thank Coach Shankweiler for joining us live in the studio. Of course, we want to thank Blake Harrell for joining us as well. And I want to, again, we dedicated our show to Harold Robinson, the memory of Harold Robinson, and his memorial service Friday, October 17th at 11 a.m., the First Christian Church of Washington. We'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Bojangles, Bostic Sugg, Michelob Ultra, East Coast Grading, Gavigan Insurance, Greenville Auto World, Greenville Utilities, Papa John's, Pepsi, QC Kinetics, Taft and Hagler, The Rick House, and Tiebreakers.
Join us next week for another